Hello ladies and gentlemen, just wanted to create another quick YouTube video for everyone. We've been having a lot of people ask while we're streaming about how to hide things, kind of building advice and things like that. So basically we're just going to start out with a basic video on how to hide things up under your vehicle, because the number one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have a fuel barrel that's placed where somebody can see it. You don't want to have a generator placed where somebody can see it. Now, most people are going to start with just a basic build. Like, you've got this, just a basic frame. They're going to throw on just, you know, your basic cabin that everybody uses. They're just going to throw, for shits and giggles, they're just going to throw some wheels on it. And, you know, they'll throw their weapons up top. But then when it comes time to place their fuel barrel, because everybody wants to get their 5 fuel per match, they're just gonna throw it like somewhere right back here, like on the back, or like they'll put it like right here at the back of the vehicle. I've seen weird placement of barrels, or like some people will do like this. They'll place like 2 of them. Like this is like one of the worst things you can actually do, because if you look at the description of the fuel barrel, whenever it explodes, it's gonna deal 900 damage in a 10-meter radius, meaning this barrel in probably the 3.5k and under bracket is going to be enough in itself to blow up your entire vehicle. So basically what we've been doing from the start is if you press C when you're in here building your vehicle, it's going to lift it up for you. Now the easiest way to hide a barrel, from my perspective, is to remove one of the frames and then replace that frame that we put in with something of almost equal size. Basically, the way it works in the game is as long as the frame is touching any part of the connecting pieces of the vehicle, like any of these connecting squares that show up, then it counts as being connected. The frames themselves don't have to touch. They just have to touch wheels and the actual cabin of the vehicle. So basically we'll do that. We will then turn the barrel sideways. We'll put it up under the vehicle. And then, just because we like to be nice and neat and we somewhat have OCD, we'll throw that up under there. And there you go. Your barrel's hidden. Now, if you would like to provide more cover for said barrel, the easiest thing to do is we can move it back a little bit. Like that. Replace this other part that's up front. And then you can basically, like, put a little bit of armor on the side of it, like a van side or something. And then there you go. Your barrel's hidden. Nobody sees your barrel. It's out of view. Normally, this will help you to stay alive a lot longer in the game. Now, when you move up to higher tiers and higher level vehicles, you're going to need to put a few different pieces on it. You're not just going to be looking at a fuel barrel. A lot of people will end up putting generators on their vehicles. So basically what you'll want to do in that case is the same thing. Like the generators are going to still do damage to your vehicle when they explode. Like the hazardous generator does 700 damage in an 8-meter radius. Well, here's the thing. An 8-meter radius is going to be the entire, pretty much half of your vehicle. Pretty much. And what that means is you have to be really careful in the placement of this generator. You can either put it like at the back and put the fuel barrel, like we said, somewhere under here, and maybe it won't blow up, but you're still getting into that territory where if the barrel is too close to it, then both of them are going to blow up at the same time. What I'll normally do in this situation, let me go ahead and put a cabin on here. We're going to go ahead and put the jawbreaker on because that's what I normally use when I go up to higher tiers. So in this instance, we would have Mr. Jawbreaker right here. He's our cabin that we're going to be using, and we want to put a generator on. Normally what I'll do is, instead of putting the generator in the back, I'll put the generator up under the vehicle. Just like that. Now, what that means is it's made it a little more difficult for us because we can't put... I like to use 6 wheels. And we can't put this one equal with the others. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to make it a little bit wider. And what I normally do is I make it a little bit wider on both sides so that it's kind of even. And then also what I normally do is I'll remove this front section put that at the back. We can do this, because that way the front of the vehicle will be even with the, well, the front of the frame will be even with the front of the cab. But what I'd normally do in this instance is I would probably spread this out a little bit, because I'm gonna put decent armor on the front of the vehicle, and this is where I would put my fuel barrel. And I'd scoot him all the way back up against the generator. Now, you're probably thinking, but I can see it. But the issue is that when I use this big of a frame, I put these tires on it. So as long as we have big enough tires to cover it, it's all covered. They're not going to be aiming for the generator or the fuel barrel unless you get flipped. Now, if they shoot a tire out, like if they shot this middle tire out, they would be able to see it a little bit easier. But normally they're not going to shoot directly for either of these. They're going to be aiming for your weapons or for the other tires, and it's not going to be easy to get up under the frame to shoot these, again, unless you're flipped. Now, another building thing that you need to learn in playing this game is you need to hide your weapons. You don't want to just take... Here. You don't want to just take your weapons and just slap them on the top of the vehicle. Like this. The only reason that I have this built this way and the guns aren't protected is this is for raids. Basically, this is to be taken into the defense raids and the cargo races, where the enemies aren't really going to be aiming directly for my weapons like normal PvP players would. What you're going to want to do eventually is start making your builds like this wasp that I have, where that they're essentially hidden behind the cabin. And let me load this up for you so I can show you. Alright, so essentially what I've done with this one is I'll let you see is up under here we have the generator like we had been talking about. We have the fuel barrel like we've been talking about, both hidden, both behind tires so that you cannot see them. And then we also have a few different pieces up under here. We have the engine right here that is also protecting this from being shot from the top. We're also using the engine so that it is a point that this is connected to. Alright, so let me take a few more pieces off. Alright, so what I've done here is instead of placing these directly on top so that they're easy to shoot, what I have done is I've actually used these armor pieces. I've put them up against the cabin so that they provide more structure for the cabin, but then they're also allowing me to equip these weapons. Now I've turned them to the side so that basically the barrels of the weapon are pointing over top of the cabin. This does limit my ability to shoot in front of my vehicle a little bit, meaning that I can't aim like right here or right here. I have to aim at a distance. Like that's as close as I can shoot. But I understand that's going to be a downside for some people, but the upside is that enemies are not able to shoot my guns off as easily, which is highly important in higher tiers of battle. In higher tiers of battle, it's very rare that you're going to catch somebody who's 100% pressed up against your vehicle unless they're melee. And in higher tiers, you're going to have your teammates who are going to help you shoot the tires off of the melee vehicles so that you don't have to worry about anybody who gets in melee range. And that's pretty much it, guys. Just the basic points of this video is just to hide your fuel barrels, to hide your generators. If you're going to use multiple fuel barrels because you want to be able to self-destruct, still, please try to hide them up under your vehicle. Leaving the fuel barrels open on the back of your vehicle, even if you're just trying to use them to explode, is one of the worst things you can possibly do because it allows people to kill you easily. So basically, hide fuel barrels, hide generators, anything that can explode, hide it, and be sure to protect your weapons. Protect your weapons in higher tiers and in lower tiers, because the longer your weapons live, the more damage you can do and the more likely you are to get kills and points. But anyway, guys, this is going to be it for this video. I hope this has been informative for most people. If you have requests for future videos or anything you'd like me to do a tutorial on, please feel free to hit me up. I'll link the actual Twitch site on the bottom, like on the video. And I hope everybody has a great day, and I'll catch you guys in game. Y'all take care.